We are proud to have today's episode sponsored by our friends at RGK. Founded in 1988, RGK Wheelchairs is a global leader in designing made-to-measure sport and daily wheelchairs. Every RGK chair is uniquely built to reflect the individuality, performance needs, and lifestyle of its user. Created from the highest quality lightweight materials, RGK chairs deliver unmatched precision, speed, and durability. Trusted by top athletes and everyday users around the world. From basketball courts to tennis courts to daily adventures, RGK's expert mobility advisors guide you through a personalized assessment to help create your perfect fit. Find out more about RGK and their impressive line of products at rgkwheelchairs.com. For the fourth episode of the Game On podcast, we introduce our first coach, Coach Ryan Hynes of the women's wheelchair basketball team. Coach Hynes is an 8-time national champion, 7-time as a coach, and we are very pleased to have him join us today. Coach Hynes, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Alex. I'm a little underdressed compared to you, but I'm glad to be here.
And just come as you are, Coach.
Oh, okay.
That's the dress code up here.
It's the beauty of a podcast.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. The cameras make you have to dress up a little bit, at
It's
least,
true.
right?
It's
at
true.
least you have to have some clothes on.
Agreed.
But the rest of it works out well.
Perfect.
Coach, you're from Germantown, Wisconsin. You've been living here in Alabama for well over a decade at this point. Tell us about what it was like growing up.
Yeah, so I grew up in a really close family-knit household. I have 2 older brothers, so I'm the youngest of 3. The youngest is the best, Alex, so sorry if you don't fall in line there.
I don't.
Okay, well, that's okay. But yeah, youngest of 3, grew up really close to my family, like I said, and but when I was young, I actually went through some cancer treatment. So when I was 3, I was diagnosed with neuroblastoma. In my abdomen, I had a tumor. So I went through surgery to remove about 40% of the tumor, and then I had radiation and chemo to shrink it as much as possible. Went into remission in 1995. So when I was about 5 years old, I went into remission. I didn't have any really issues with it from then on. I grew up playing really any sport that I could. Sports is a huge part of my childhood, a huge part of my life growing up. But then when I was 14, so my 8th grade summer heading into my freshman year of high school, unbeknownst to me, the tumor that I still had remaining was actually growing with me. And it ended up compressing on my spinal cord at the lumbar region. So initially I had no movement, or I had no sensation from the waist down. It was an incomplete injury, so I had a surgery to remove about 60% of the tumor. Just with where it is, they can't take the whole thing out. Luckily, it wasn't cancerous, so I just had to have that surgery. Then I started rehab right away. I did inpatient rehab for about 3 months. It really kind of crushed my whole summer. It was a real bummer. But over time, I got a lot of sensation back. I got a lot of movement back. So now I can walk a little bit with like a cane. My balance isn't great. Still deal with some issues from it, but overall I'm super blessed to be here, and it led me to wheelchair basketball. It led me here to Alabama.
You got a nice swagger to you when you walk.
I appreciate
you
that.
Got a little bit
I
of,
try
a little
to.
bit of that that strut to you. It's good. It works.
I appreciate it.
It works. So let's back up to the first diagnosis.
Yeah.
Back when you were 3 years old. Do you remember any of that 3 to 5 year old time of your life?
Yeah, I've had a lot of people ask me. There's very little that I remember when I was young. There's like certain little things of like the treatment that I don't know is imprinted in my mind that I remember. I remember when I had to go back when I was 14 and I had the tube that goes through the nose into the stomach. That one I remembered vividly from when I was younger too. So just little things, but more or less it's just kind of what my folks told me about it, and the doctors too. So not a lot.
So you go from about 5 to 14.
Yep.
In that range. Was that pretty normal? Just normal kid stuff?
Yep. Yeah. I like I said, I played every sport I could. I had no issues as far as mobility goes. I really had no after effects from my treatment at that time. So yeah, 5 to 14 was playing able-bodied sports, and I had no lingering effects from my cancer treatment.
What was the tipping point before you realized the tumor was growing with you? And then your sensation was gone.
Yeah, it was that was a wild day. I was actually outside. It was a really nice, like I said, the first week of summer break. So I was outside running around, just playing outside. All of a sudden I had really sharp pain in my legs. Didn't really think much of it, just thought it was really bad, like muscle pain. So I actually went inside and I drew a bath, went into the bathtub expecting it to go away. Really, really sharp pain. And then all of a sudden I had nothing. I was like, oh, great, the pain's gone. And I went to go stand up out of the tub and I couldn't stand up. And then I realized I had no feeling in my legs. So it was a little bit of a, panicked call to 911 and had an ambulance come and get me and went straight to the doctor to figure out what was going on. And they eventually figured out that it was the tumor that grew.
It was that quick.
Yeah, it was me running around like I had always run around to not being able to stand up at all in a matter of 10 minutes. It was really, really quick.
It's amazing how quick your life can change.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Well, for me, when I was 4, I had my spinal cord injury, and it started. I came home from preschool. My neck was tilted to the side like this, and just thought it was normal. Maybe I did something to my neck during the day. I was a kid, 4 years old, getting into different things, and thought nothing of it. Put a little heating pack on that. Went to bed. I woke up in the middle of the night, and I expressed to my parents that my hands and feet felt big. Big. I was beginning to lose that sensation.
Yeah.
So mine happened a lot more drew out a little bit longer than yours did. And then when I woke up in the morning, I couldn't move anything.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how good things can come from the most difficult circumstances.
Yeah, for sure.
And after that, you then go into the hospital, surgeries.
When I went into the hospital, I actually started my rehab right away because they weren't sure what the treatment plan was going to look like. So I started rehab right away. I got a little bit of like kind of twitchy movement back, maybe a little bit of sensation, spotty, but not a lot. And then after about a month, they decided they were going to do a surgery just to resect as much of the tumor as they could. So again, just with where it's at, it's again on my spinal cord. It's also right around a lot of vital organs. So it's something that they had to be really kind of careful and direct about how they wanted to remove it and how much they could remove. So they ended up removing about 60% of the tumor. And then from there on out, I had scans every 3 months for a long time. Then I was having MRIs every 6 months and then every year. And it's been a long time now and I haven't had them. The idea is once I was done growing, the tumor should be done growing. So that's why the scans continued for a long time, but now they've kind of weaned off with that.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Do you remember being afraid at all?
It's really weird. I was super calm, and I think it's a big blessing in the whole situation. Is my family was great throughout the process, of course, but I was just really at peace with everything. I guess my biggest fear wasn't even being able to walk again or not. It was really sports. Sports was such a huge part of my life. I was like, well, what am I going to do now that, my situation has changed, my circumstances have changed. And I was lucky enough to find wheelchair basketball actually while I was still in the hospital doing rehab. My OT had taken me to, had known I played sports growing up and taken me to a wheelchair basketball practice. I had no idea what that was. I never had seen it really before. And I kind of, tried it out right away. And sooner or later, I fell in love with it and started playing right off the bat.
When did you know that was something that you really wanted to pursue?
I think it was when I hopped in a chair that somewhat fit me. It wasn't measured for me at the time, but once I sat in a chair that somewhat fit me and I got pushing at a high rate of speed and you start feeling the wind in your face and you still get to show your athleticism, that's when I realized, all right, this is something I want to do. And then I found out about, college, and I knew that was an option too. So it just opened doors that wouldn't have been there if I didn't have my injury. So make the best out of your situation. And super blessed to be where I'm at.
Did you try any other adaptive sports over that time?
I did. I've done wheelchair football. I did hockey for a little bit. That was pretty fun.
You did sled hockey?
I didn't do sled hockey. We had this one league where you would just push in your ball chair on the ice.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ice would have to be scuffed up a little bit so you could not, just slide uncontrollably.
Yeah.
But it was, it was really fun. So I enjoyed that.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Did you have a stick?
Yeah. You were just pushing with the stick.
I've honestly never heard of that.
Yeah, it was really fun.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It was right at the Pettit Center in Milwaukee. It was great.
Wow, the Pettit Center.
Yeah.
That's
big
pretty
time.
cool.
Yeah.
That's big time
Yeah.
stuff.
It was
It
fun.
really is. So you're going through the recruitment process. All of a sudden, you're at the end of your high school, end of your time in high school, and you're looking for colleges. What brought you down here?
Yeah. So, it's very similar to stand up, where you can start really talking to coaches your junior year. So I started talking to really all the coaches on the men's side of things, and I had a few schools I was really looking at, and kind of what ultimately led me here to Alabama was that family aspect. I kind of had known a couple of the guys that were there, but I didn't know them well, and I just felt like I would fit in really well with the group that was going to be a core member of the team moving forward. I really liked the coaches at the time too, but the campus is beautiful. Alabama's always been a school that I really liked. I actually have family in Alabama. A couple of my mom's sisters, my aunts, moved here. So I had been to Alabama, so I kind of had that love for the school a little bit before I got here. I think I kept it pretty cool on my visit, but I as soon as I came for my visit, I was sold on this place. And what Brent and Margaret, Dr. Harden and Dr. Strand have created here is amazing, and I just wanted to be a part of it right away.
Who was the head coach at the time?
It was Miles Thompson.
Okay.
Yeah.
And some of the early days of the program had only started just a handful of years before you got here, practicing over in the rec center, playing in the rec center.
Yep.
Too. It's amazing how things have changed.
Yep.
Walk me through your time here as a student at Alabama. You won a national championship here as a player. A remarkable accomplishment for any athlete that can come in here is to win a national championship. We take it for granted because as of late, it happens pretty often with across all of our teams here, from tennis to basketball, and now for some of our track athletes as well. What was that like over your years as a player?
It was a lot of fun. Like you mentioned, when I got here, the men's team had only been around for 3 years at that point. So it was still a really new program, still a really new team. So it was fun for me to be a part of kind of building a program in a way, because we were still, setting some of the standards that I think the men's team still has to this day. So kind of being a part of that was really important for me to see, and it was really important for me to be a part of. But yeah, I had a great experience here as a student. I had a great experience here as an athlete. Came here in 2009, a long time ago, Alex. I know that. And yeah, you're a long way from home, as you know. Like, being a long way from home, it helps to have that family environment. And we definitely had that amongst our team and my teammates that I played with. We were just a really tight-knit group, and fun to be around all the guys. And I had a blast while I was here, and got my degree in elementary ed. I ended up teaching a couple of years after I was done, before I got into coaching. So yeah, it was a great experience, and it's been really fun for me to see where we started. Even at that point, the program as a whole started in 2003. So the program was only 6 years old at the time I got here. And just to see where we're at now in this awesome facility, and to see where we started is pretty fun.
You mentioned Dr. Strand, Dr. Harden, the founders of our program, and still the visionaries of our future with this program. What was it like seeing them at that point? And similar to the early stages, we didn't have this facility. We didn't have obviously our tennis facility yet either. What was it like seeing it in the early stages?
Yeah, they were still super hands-on, super involved in everything. Still had that ultimate vision for what they wanted our program to be. And even now, we're still striving to do a lot of things better than we currently do them. And that's why we're at where we're at right now, is because they never want to settle with where we are currently at. We want to give our athletes the same experience that any other athlete on campus has. And facilities are a big part of that. But yeah, when we started, I remember on my recruit visit, Brent actually came to the hotel and had breakfast with me and my family. And then Miles was there, the coach as well at the time. So that family environment was again a huge part of my decision to come here, and part of the reason that I wanted to stay around and be involved in coaching now. So yeah, it's kind of wild. I always tell them, like, when I came for my visit, their son Joseph was actually a baby, and now he's like set to graduate.
He's gonna graduate, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a little, that makes me feel old, Alex. But other than that, it's great. Now I could sense from Brent and Margaret how tight knit the program was as a whole, and their ultimate vision for what they wanted this place to be. And it was, like I said, still really early in the process. So it's been fun to see them grow the program to what it is, and kind of what they still want it to look like down the line.
It is an elite experience being an athlete here. We have companies like RGK, which has been so generous in sponsoring this show, and even more so our program. Companies like Honey Stinger, local companies like in Tuscaloosa, like Jalapenos, which has done a fantastic restaurant, phenomenal restaurant, great food in town. And they've been so generous in supporting this program because so many people want to be a part of this place that they built. And that's what athletes are coming to even today, to this place. You mentioned you went into education for a couple years after being here as a player. What inspired you to pursue elementary education?
Yeah, so I came here, and that wasn't my initial plan. I wasn't really thinking teaching. I actually had a cousin that was in the teaching world at the time, and kind of chatted with her, and I've had some other people that I know in the teaching world. My grandpa, actually, back in the day too, was a teacher. So I thought I'd give it a go. I kind of fell in love with it. It was a lot of fun just getting to get people to figure things out, and I always enjoyed that. And being in coaching, it's teaching. It's just a different classroom and a different subject matter, but at the end of the day, you're still teaching. So yeah, I always loved teaching once I started in that, and yeah, so I still get to do it, just a little different.
What are some of those skills that carried over from the classroom to the court?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that takes you a long time to perfect, not that you ever perfect it in the classroom, is just kind of like finding your voice, right? Finding your teacher voice. And I know for me, I'm not the most outgoing person in the world. I'm pretty introverted for the most part, but when I'm like in my domain, in my area, I can be extroverted. I can be loud. I can be demonstrative. I can be whatever I need to be. So I think finding my teaching voice really helped me when I got into coaching, because I think finding your coaching voice takes a really long time. And for me, like, starting as an assistant coach was a huge benefit to me. I got to learn under Ford, the men's coach, for a couple years, and he kind of like let me do my thing a little bit too, helped me become a little bit more comfortable with finding my coaching voice. But I think teaching, that background, really helped me be comfortable stepping into this role.
2016, you come back, like you just said, to be an assistant coach here with the men's team. What was that like for those few seasons?
Yeah, it was.
Coach Ford's been here a long time.
He has been here a long time. He's talk about old. You know what I mean? My goodness.
Wise.
I'm just kidding. Wise.
Yes.
That's a better word for it. Yeah, I had, that job opened up, and I was still teaching that year, and I was set to come back to Brookwood Elementary, where I was at, and the opportunity came about to apply for and interview for the men's assistant coach job. So it was an interesting time, because I had to let my employer know that I wasn't coming back, but I also didn't have this job lined up yet. So it was a bit of a leap of faith in myself, and really the only thing that I was interested in leaving teaching for was to be involved in this program, because it meant so much to me, and to be able to give back in a different way was, I thought, a really good opportunity. So I was lucky enough to get that job as the men's assistant coach, and like I said, it was really learning the game just from a different perspective, on the coaching side of it, on the teaching side of the game. So yeah, I didn't really know, like, going in, I'm like, am I going to even enjoy coaching? Well, luckily I have, and I've been blessed to do it this is my 10th year now coaching. So it's been a really awesome experience, and I had a great time working with Ford, and like I said, just getting comfortable in a new role and learning to love the game of basketball, but now from the coaching side of things.
What is different about that love for the game in terms of coaching versus playing? Do you have to love something different or something else that you didn't love as a player per se?
I think you're just maybe a little bit more aware of the importance of like relationships, whether it be amongst teammates, whether it be amongst coach and player, amongst coach and coach. So I think just being aware of the importance of relationships, the awareness of how much that affects everything around you. But I think like for myself as a player, and for myself as a coach, you have to love the grind, right? It's a long season.
Yes.
And if you don't really love the grind, you're not going to be successful as an athlete, in my opinion.
It's going to burn you out.
It's going to burn you out, right? And if you don't love the grind as a coach, you're probably not going to stick around for a long time. So I love the process. Like I love the idea of coming in at a certain level and really working to improve and max out that roster of talent that you have that year. And it's a challenge. It's a challenge to get, however many people you have on your roster to work together as one unit. So it's a lot of fun. It's something that I enjoy. And one of my favorite parts of coaching is getting to see that improvement from an individual from year one to the time that they leave with a degree and go into the workforce or whatever that they have planned after graduation.
When you became the women's head coach, you've now had a full class that has come and played under you.
Yeah.
Since that time, obviously, you have 6 national championship rings to show for it since 2019, which is incredible. Dynasty material. You have the same amount of championships as Nick Saban here at Alabama.
I love Nick, so that's great.
That's great. You're an exclusive fraternity with him. That's for sure. But what have you noticed about that process, that journey of seeing a player when they start out as a freshman on your team versus when they graduate?
Yeah.
How gratifying is that for you to see that improvement and their success while they're here?
Yeah, I think, any coach here on our staff, like Ford will tell you the same thing. Coach Evan will tell you the same thing. Tyler will tell you the same thing. Any of our assistant coaches will tell you the same thing. Like getting somebody to come in as a young adult and to, mature independence-wise, mature as an athlete, and to be able to get a degree from a prestigious university like Alabama, like actually means something, and them to go in, back home, to move to a new location, whatever the situation might be for them, and start a career. Like there's no better feeling than, as boring as graduations can be, I freaking love going to them. They're a lot of fun to get to see, my athletes go across the stage and get a degree. And I just couldn't be more proud of them when that happens.
Describe to me being in that role as a head coach for your first couple seasons, when you're trying to really get your feet wet, if you will, as a head coach for a team. How was that transition going from the assistant to the head coaching position in that short of a time? How did you find that success so early?
I think, like I said, I credit a lot to mentors that I had, like my coach Miles when I played here, just taught me so much about the game and taught me in a way that I could teach somebody else about it as well. And then working under Ford for 2 years, just again figuring out some of the nuances of it that I didn't really understand from a coaching perspective. And then I think just when I started, I knew that there was a lot of turnover amongst the women's side coaches before I got here, and that was like really my big pushing point is like, hey, I am taking this job because I want to be here and I want to be here for the long haul. It's not like something that I just want to do it and do it for a year or two and then split. Like this is something that I have roots here and I want to be successful here, and I want to build the women's program with me at the helm for the long haul. That was kind of like my big push when I started. So I think that helped a little bit with that kind of like buy-in piece from the girls, and I think a lot of them had maybe seen me play before too. So I think that helps, just knowing like, okay, he's played the game. He knows, what the college experience is like. So I think that helps a little bit with that initial buy-in. But just being comfortable with who I am, like not trying to be somebody I'm not. I'm not a huge I'm not just gonna like scream at you to scream at you. That's not my style. That's not who I am. So I tell other coaches too, like you got to figure out what works for you. But at the end of the day, you got to be true to yourself. You might need to tailor your message a little bit different depending on your team and your group that you're working with. But at the end of the day, you got to stay true to yourself. And I think I did a really good job of that early on, and that helped with the buy-in. And hopefully it's continued to help with the buy-in over the years.
Success is difficult to attain in of itself. Sustained success is even harder. You've had sustained success here. How?
I think it really does go back to like what Brent and Margaret, they preach all the time is the fact that we never want to settle with where we're at. I think one thing that's helped me is I've learned to not be content, but I've learned to be really happy and be able to celebrate successes. Like it's hard to win a championship. Like you said, it's hard to do it multiple times in a row. So I think it's really important to take a moment and celebrate those and like cherish those moments and cherish those teams and cherish those experiences with the athletes. But at the same time, like realizing that next year is going to present new challenges. No matter who's returning on your roster, every season presents a different challenge. And knowing that going in, and again, you gotta love the grind. You gotta love the process of getting better. And if you don't, you're not going to have success. And if you don't, you're definitely not going to have repeated success.
How do you balance all the personalities on your team? Because on your team currently, you do have some pretty distinct personalities.
Yeah, I got a lot.
A lot of people that are a lot of fun to be around, but when you have that many girls on a group, or that many athletes on a team, there has to be like a meshing process.
Yeah.
Obviously, some of these girls have been here for a long time. They've played together or against each other at the international level. But how do you make it all come together?
Yeah, I think it really starts with recruiting. I kind of have three big areas that I look at in a potential recruit. And, you know, it's, I don't know, cliche as this might sound, is you do really have to go in this order. Because if you just look at the basketball piece, you're going to bring people into the program that maybe wouldn't be a good fit and things wouldn't work out. You wouldn't get that cohesion amongst the team. So the three areas that I look at in a recruit is first and foremost is character. Like, are you the right person that we want to bring into the program? Are you somebody that's going to add to what we're doing? Are you somebody that's going to fit into the team that we have? Are you somebody that's going to fit into future teams down the line? And if you don't check that box, we don't move on to the second thing. But the second thing is academics. Like, first of all, are you going to get into school? Like, if not, then
Sure.
we don't continue the conversation. And if so, like, do we have what you want to study? That's the great part about being here at Alabama is typically the answer to that question is yes, because it's a bigger university. You can do a lot of different things here. And then again, if you don't check that academic box, we don't move to box three, which is basketball, right? Do you have the potential to add to what we already have from a basketball perspective? And we've brought in people that come in really, really polished. And we've brought in people that come in really, really green, but with a lot of talent. And that's something that we can develop over the years. So, yeah, if you don't check those three boxes, then we don't really bring you here. And I've been at a really good position the past few years where I can be selective in who I want to join the family here. And I think that helps with bringing in the right people, helps with that continued success. Because if you have the wrong people in the program, it makes your job as a coach really hard and challenging. I've got 13 big personalities, like you said, some wild ones, I'll tell you, some funny ones. They're all pretty funny. But it makes my job easy to get them to mesh together as a unit, because I think at the end of the day, they actually enjoy spending time with each other like they do it outside of basketball. And it makes my job a lot easier when you bring the right people into the program.
Your team is like a family.
Yeah.
A lot of family, a lot of sisters being together, and then they have you, of course.
Yeah.
As their coach. But basketball's certainly given you a lot as well.
Yeah.
Your wife, Caitlin, player here as well. You met her here. And I'll ask you this again later in terms of what basketball means to you. But in terms of what basketball has given you, how would you describe it?
Yeah, I think, you know, the girls will tell you that I'm old, Alex. Don't buy it. It's not true. I'm still young. I'm young at heart. I appreciate that. I appreciate that about you. But I think it's something when I do get older and I look back, like I'll realize exactly to what extent, basketball has given me and what it means to me. But like you named a couple things right there, like my career, right? My career for the last 10 years almost has been basketball. And like I said, if I didn't have my injury when I was 14, like I wouldn't be here. Like I wouldn't be in this place. I wouldn't be in my current career, in my position at Alabama. And I wouldn't have met my wife, I wouldn't have pretty much everything that I have to this day if I didn't have wheelchair basketball. So it's given me really a lot of different aspects of my life, and it's given me a second family here at Alabama. It's given me a third family with Team USA. So it's been amazing. And like I said, if I think about it too long, Alex, I'll probably get choked up on it. So I'm not going to think about it too long. Yeah. But it's given me everything. So I'm super just grateful for the game and just love it.
You're grateful for your injury.
Exactly. Yep.
That's wonderful. You mentioned Team USA. So that's something that's come on here in just the last few years.
Yeah.
You're the head coach of the Team USA U25 team in 2023.
Yes.
And another big success for you there at that tournament in Thailand, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. And now you're an assistant coach for the Team USA women's wheelchair basketball team.
Yes.
As well. And our wonderful athletic trainer, Alex Curry, is a part of that staff as well. What has it been like to coach for Team USA?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's it's a different game on the international level. It's a lot faster. Just the way the game is called is a little bit different as well. So kind of like learning some of the nuances of the international game as opposed to the college game has been really beneficial. And part of the reason that I really wanted to get started with Team USA is selfishly I just wanted to keep developing as a coach. And like it's been amazing. It's been great to work with a different group of girls, some that I've coached against in college, getting to know them a little bit and realizing how awesome of people they are. So it's been great to just build some more relationships. It's been great from a development standpoint for me. I think I can, every camp I go to, every competition I go to, I can always pull something and bring it here to Alabama. So it's been an amazing experience, and I'm really glad that I'm working with a new staff now on this next cycle. I'm going to pull a lot of information from that too, and it's been a really great experience to work with an awesome group of girls.
Do you find it difficult to form out that roster when you have a roster here? And obviously you can't pick every girl from your roster. But do you find that difficult in any way to make that distinction, or is it's just what you have to do? It's just business.
Yeah, I mean it is business. It's a hard business. Like if anybody enjoys the cut portions of a tryout camp, then I mean you probably got some problems, Alex, to be honest with you. No, they suck. There's no way around it. Cuts are terrible. End of the day, I am a people pleaser, but part of coaching at that level is you're gonna upset some people, you're gonna hurt some people, sadly, but it's really, really hard. I have seen some people react in a really, really positive way where they take the feedback and they apply it and they come back next time a lot stronger than their previous camp and their previous tryout. But it's really, really hard to tell somebody a dream that they've had for probably a really long time, at least in the moment, is it going to pan out? But I think the staff that I had the last cycle, the staff that I'm part of right now, I think we try to do a really good job in understanding the person first, as opposed to just the athlete, and realizing like, hey, this is really hard news. Trying to come from a perspective of, first of all, we care about you. Like, this isn't the end of the line. This is just a part of the process. And like, we want you still involved in the game. We still want you getting better. Here are a few things that you can work on moving forward. But yeah, cuts are terrible. It's really, really hard, especially when you have, maybe some people from Alabama at camp. I'm sorry, from Alabama at a tryout camp, and they don't make the team. It's somebody that you have a a real relationship with before, and having to tell them some bad news is really, really hard to do.
But the good news is that they're still here and they still have
Yes,
you
exactly,
on this team here, and the success of this program has been just fantastic. 6 national championships here as the Alabama women's head coach. What are your goals in moving forward? What keeps you motivated?
Yeah, I like I said, I always view every season as a complete fresh start, right? Obviously, there's stuff you can pull. I'm not saying forget what's happened. Celebrate your victories, celebrate your successes, but at the same time, like, each season is a new roster, right? Even if you have the entire team return, you're probably going to add some new pieces to the puzzle, and you've got to get that puzzle to fit. So for me, it's really easy to stay motivated because I do view every season as a new one. As great as past successes are, they don't really mean anything for this season right now. When I'm done and retired, then I can look back and celebrate everything as a whole. But as of right now, like, this season is new. Like, last season doesn't mean anything other than a learning experience for making this season better. So yeah, I don't know. I stay pretty motivated. I stay pretty hungry. And I think the girls do a great job of that too, is like every single day is a challenge in itself, whether that be academically, whether that be in the weight room, and whether that be on court. So, we always preach on being better than we were yesterday. I know, mentioned Coach Saban earlier. He was really big on process. He was really big on the process of the season. And I think if you view things through that lens, staying motivated comes pretty easy.
And you're motivated off the court too now, back in the classroom here at the University of Alabama as a professor. Professor Hynes now.
Yeah.
What grade did you teach in elementary?
So I did a long-term sub at first grade at the Magnet School right across the street, actually.
First grade.
And then I taught full-time at a third grade classroom at Brookwood Elementary.
Who listens better, the third graders or your students this year?
Like the ones here at Alabama? Probably the third graders. A little bit.
That's tremendous. Hey, do you see that as something you want to continue to develop while you're here?
Yeah, I think it's important to. It's really easy to get, I guess, kind of stuck with where you're at. Easy to get satisfied with where you're at, and like for me, I always try to do things a little bit different. Whether that be on court or just in life in general. And yeah, it's something that I've really wanted to do for a while is start teaching. I got my master's here at Alabama, and I knew that was something that I could potentially do. So I don't know. I probably bugged Brent and Margaret about it enough where they're like, all right, fine, you can teach a class. So it's been a lot of fun. It's, again, a new challenge, another thing on my plate. But I always like being busy too. So it's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it a lot, and it's something that I plan on doing. I'm teaching the same class in the spring, so it's been a lot of fun.
What grade are the students?
So this is a senior level class. It's a
senior level.
Yeah.
You're teaching a 400 level.
Yeah.
Right off the bat?
Right off the bat, Alex. Wow. No beating around the bush. No, it's a Kin 468. It's an adapted PE class. So it's kind of like right up my alley, because my PE experience in elementary school when I didn't have a disability was one thing, and then my PE experience when I got to high school really was non-existent. Yeah, so like getting to come at it from that lens a little bit it helps in that class, but it's also really even more so about learning about different disabilities and learning about the right way to kind of speak about them and have a little bit more knowledge on things, so you can leave the classroom a little bit better than when you got there. So it's been a really fun class, a fun experience.
I told you we'd come back to this question towards the end, and we're getting to that point. But what does wheelchair basketball mean to you?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Like I mentioned earlier, like family has always been important to me. Like I'm super close with my family back home. But I've tried to create that same culture here, as that family culture, that family environment amongst teams that I've had the pleasure of coaching. And I think what it means to me is it just means an extension of my family. I truly love and care about everybody that I have coached, everybody that I've played with when I was here as a student athlete, everybody that I have the pleasure of coaching now. I truly love and care about them as individuals. And it really, it means everything to me. It's a huge part of my life. Like, my wife Caitlin is super supportive of me and super supportive of what I do, and she's let me do this for a long time, and now at the USA level it means a little bit more travel, but it's an amazing experience. And like I said, I owe most of what's in my life to wheelchair basketball. So it means everything to me. It's been an amazing honor to be involved in this program here at Alabama for such a long time.
And you've given wheelchair basketball a lot yourself.
Appreciate that.
And the impact you've had here speaks for itself. It's tremendous. I can't wait to see what you have to come.
Yes.
This season and beyond.
Yes, sir.
Which is fantastic. Coach Hynes, it's been a pleasure.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Alex. Appreciate it.
And we'll see you next time on Game On.